Hey there, guys. Welcome back to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And I'm very excited for today's video. I was given the opportunity to interview some folks over from Hasbro, specifically from the G.I. Joe team. Lenny and Emily. Lenny, of course, is the lead designer for the G.I. Joe team, and Emily being their sort of lead of marketing. And this was awesome. I won't lie. I'm excited for you guys to watch the video. We get into sort of the mindset of starting this brand back in 2020, where it is now, the importance of diversity in the brand, honoring the sort of history of the brand. We talk about tennis. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, that's it. Enjoy. So once again, Lenny, Emily, thank you so much for being here. I know last time you guys did an interview, at least to my knowledge, you were sort of serenaded with this musical accompaniment.
Oh, we were.
It was
Yes.
yes.
It may have been a career highlight, quite honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
My mom loved every bit of it. And
Oh my God, my mom loved it too.
yeah, we're Italian too, so my mother loved it even more.
So a new bar has been set for all interviews with us in the future, just to let you know.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that bar is being serenaded with personalized music at the beginning of interviews and at the end of interviews. There was an opening and a
Wow.
closing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So yeah, I left my piano in my other interview space, of course. So I figured I'd start off with something a bit more, I guess, fun. Get your brain juices flowing there. And this is a simple question. I haven't seen you guys answer this anywhere else. Do you guys have, now being with the G.I. Joe brand, do you guys have Joe or Cobra code names for yourself, almost like original characters that you guys have for you?
Oh my goodness, that would be funny.
I would really like one.
I would like one too.
Yeah. So based on this conversation, we do not, however, we have a very talented brand writer named Mark, and I bet that Mark would really be up to the task of creating some code names for us.
I think the whole team needs them.
Yes, I think so. Okay, Mark, if you're watching, you're going to get an email about this later. So we will come back to you with our code names after they have been bestowed upon us through maybe like I'm imagining a knighting ceremony. Is that too extra? Like, no. I feel like there has to be, something like maybe certificates, like it's being read off of a scroll or something.
There's got to be some sort of.
There's got to be something we can do.
Dog tags, maybe something like that. Something to really cement
maybe
that idea.
When your first Joe comes out, kind of like when you join the team, that's when you get your name.
Ooh,
kind of deal.
Yeah, like the first product you worked on.
Yep. So like after the hit shelf.
Yep.
Then you get your name. So when we get new members and stuff like that,
yeah,
kind of cool.
I love that idea.
All right.
So unfortunately, we do not have names yet. We will get back to you about it.
Hey, I'm happy to sort of plant that seed if possible. That's really awesome.
I mean, that's a great seed to plant too. So I'm very excited about how this will work creatively in the future.
Absolutely. So I guess my real first question for you guys. So 2020 was the official sort of launch, I guess you would call it, of the return of G.I. Joe. And I was sort of wondering what exactly made 2020 the year to return. Now, I know the obvious answer is, well, there was a movie called Snake Eyes that was supposed to come out. You may have heard of it. But you guys could have obviously just made movie toys and called it a day. But now we've got clothing back and card games and all sorts of stuff. So I just want to know what made 2020 the time to strike for the G.I. Joe brand.
So interestingly, I'm sure Lenny has his beautiful artistic answer to this, but I was prepping a presentation and I did a timeline of all of the different iterations of G.I. Joe. And basically every 20 years we reinvent ourselves.
Yep.
And so this is basically at the 20 years. So from a very pragmatic approach, about every 20 years we do something different with the brand, which I think is really kind of cool and a unique thing about G.I. Joe, to be able to say that we constantly keep reinventing ourselves and we keep the elements that are working, and we kind of acclimate is the right word, but we're adapting to what modern audiences are looking for. And I think that that's something that's really, really cool for a brand that was created in the 60s.
Yeah. I think that kind of nails it, because it was about the time to bring the locusts to come out, I guess. But my answer is actually less elegant.
Oh, really? All right.
I think we were doing the Snake Eyes, the 00 figure. The
fancy pants
ones, right? And
yeah,
I think it was at the time the marketing lead he wanted to do a celebration of the brand because it was one of our like 10,000 anniversaries. As everybody knows, G.I. Joe has like 10,000 different anniversaries of different things. So we were doing a one-off figure. And then from there it grew. And then as you guys know with the movie got pushed out. So the brand was supposed to come out earlier. But then how our toy lines and our entertainments kind of sync up, things got a little topsy-turvy, I think, for all of us, but with that little pandemic thing that we're still doing. So essentially we made some cool figures, and then we're like, oh, let's make more cool figures as attached to the movie. Oh wait, let's push it out a little bit. So like it was elegant, but not.
Yeah. And then I think that we were all, it's not necessarily that we were surprised that it did so well, but I think I mean, we are getting the kind of compliments that we've been getting from fans about the line. I don't think anybody expected. Awesome. And it's amazing. And we're so flattered by the fan response to all of the products that I think it is just, it continues to fuel us.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. We you know, based on how we pull data and how we pull, like how we try to predict or read the shells, if you will, it defied how we usually read the shells, and it actually kind of changes the script a little bit, which is why we're so excited about the line as well, right? Like it's like a new frontier in a way, you know, because it kind of breaks a lot of the norms of what the 6-inch realm usually is. So it's super exciting. So yeah.
And I think if you can't tell from this statement, we are really, really excited about kind of what the future will hold for the brand. And we're already noodling like multiple years down the road. So we have some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
Oh, very exciting. I don't think I knew that the Snake Eyes was originally a one and done. So that's honestly really interesting.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't
but the sort of
one and done is, I don't know if it was a one and done, but I know that it was definitely like a celebration of the brand. But I remember at the time,
right.
At the time, it was kind of like, let's explore it. And we were actually doing other work on the brand and like reinventing it. I kind of brought this up a couple of times, but we were like going into like what the designs could be. I always bring up in these interviews, I'm like, oh, I did like 10 designs for everything. We were like redesigning it for a new generation, and it all kind of like culminated together, and it in a way that's kind of classified as born.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of the beautiful part about it now, is that we're a very unique brand in the marketplace because we are not true to entertainment. And there are not a lot of lines right now where you can say like, this is not like Lightning Collection is amazing for Power Rangers because it is the Power Rangers that you saw on your TV. Black Series that exists. Those are all things from the Star Wars universe. Marvel, you have, or Legends, you have comic books, you have the movies, you have the TV shows. There's so much Marvel entertainment. We could talk about it forever. But so I think that we're in a very unique place on Classified Series where we get to kind of look to the past and the present, and it kind of reimagine it as to what we think is cool. But it also means that it can get a little bit tricky because sometimes when you have screen references, you're like, okay, we know exactly what we need this to look like. But if you don't have screen references, you're like, ooh, let's spend forever thinking about all of these little fiddly details.
But at the same time, though, it's kind of like it's in the essence of the brand.
Yeah.
Right. It's always like you said earlier, every 20 years it reinvents itself. Right. So it's like we have to reinvent it. It's a fashion brand.
Yep.
You know, so
which is fabulous. Oh, God, I love that it's a fashion brand, basically.
It's very much a fashion brand.
Oh, those stuff teams. It fills my heart with joy.
Good thing I went to FIT.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, that actually answers a question I had lined up in regarding to sort of the lack of general tie-in media. You know, like we mentioned earlier, there was the Snake Eyes movie, which we got quite a few figures from. Not many movie lines even have like 3 females in the line there, which was impressive. But yeah, I mean, that was honestly going to be a question of mine. So it's interesting to kind of hear those battles that you guys have with inventing a whole new history while at the same time picking up where others have left off and doing all that, which is cool. It's kind of what all this legacy stuff is all about, which is neat.
We're, from a design standpoint, we're very much inspired by the Generations line, which is kind of funny because John and I both worked on the Generations line. But at the same time, though, like Generations line, it pulls from the entertainment, but it is reinventions of the designs, right? So it's like it's finding that balance of how much reinvention and how much legacy that you put into it, and kind of like pulling from that to make a modern toy line. And then within that, like what we did on G.I. Joe was we baked in the Snake Eyes stuff. So that's what's kind of cool about the way we've developed the classified line in particular, where you could introduce like a small segment within the segment, and it's like, okay, now we've got movie.
Yeah.
And here's the movie boxes with movie characters in there. So
and like all of the sub team stuff. So the like being able to do kind of different box art for like all the Cobra Island stuff that was at Target that had different back panels and logos on them. And I think that we're going to continue to explore that in the future because we love that kind of stuff.
oh yeah.
But also wanted to touch on the fact that I like that you brought up that that movie wave of figures had 3 females in it, and it is really, really important to us on the G.I. Joe team that our figures are diverse and representative of kind of a wider global audience of who people are, because that's what G.I. Joe is.
Yeah, 100%.
G.I. Joe, I mean, it's, you know, at the root of it, it's kind of good versus evil, but it's also this amazing thing where all of these people from around the globe who are just extraordinarily talented are coming together to make things happen. And I think that for us, we really celebrate that by making sure that our figures are kind of reflective of that global audience.
Yeah.
So in the future, you'll be seeing more female figures from us. You'll be seeing kind of more diversity in our line because we really want to keep continuing to push ourselves to continuously do better, which I think is really important.
And I gotta say, as a designer, it's more interesting and fun that way, right? Like even between like our military style figures, like they're all different heights. Like we're doing that on purpose. Like we're trying to
I love that.
Different heights, different
body
thicknesses, like because people are different, right? So it's like to use the same. The interesting part is budgeting, how to do so many different bodies. Right, with your budget. So it's like, how do you do it in ways where, how can I add millimeters to one piece or reduce millimeters from another piece so that we can get that variance in size across our figures? It's fun exercise. It can be challenging at times, but again, we have a book, but we break the book so that the book essentially is the articulation and kind of like our modularity system of gear, but we don't hold that to the proportions of a figure, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really fun to do.
And on a personal note, in terms of like representation and being able to kind of see different people. So when I first joined the line, the first figure that I picked up when I got to my desk was one of the original Scarlet figures.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh my God. And it was one of the like early ones. So she still had all of her gold on, which I thought I'm really big into metallic. So that worked for me. And I was looking at her and I was like, oh my God, she has freckles. I never had seen an action figure with freckles before. And as somebody who is literally covered in freckles, like that was such a cool detail to me. And it was just like a little thing, but it was one of those things where I was like, oh my God, like my mom had to custom order me a doll when I was little with freckles on it.
Oh, really?
I didn't think my freckles were weird. Yeah. And so it was just like this. And it's such a little detail, but it's the things like that that really help our line to resonate with fans.
Yeah, I think it's just character design in general, right? But the best part about character design is like diving into people and diving into diversity of people. And I think like in the case of the freckles, which was really fun to do, like it was like the inkjet technology was not new-ish, but it was new for the Joe brand. It was new for our factories that we're using. And it was interesting to get into it and like what could we do with it, and like having her inkjet the freckles on was pretty precise details to do with that technology. So again, diversity was super fun to do, and then it also lended its hand to really fun and cool designs, right? So
and that technology is being used, like, oh my God, the Jules and Ohm figure that the Fortnite team just did, she's literally covered in tattoos in ways that it was the first time I saw her, I was like, oh my God, what? This is so cool. Yeah, very expensive. But like also when you look at her, you're like, this is so unusual, and it's so exciting to kind of see that our brands are kind of pushing what we can do.
Yeah, we want to push it. We want to have fun with the designs, right? And I think how do you make something visually striking, right? Like it's not even like it's like, how do you get somebody's interest or pique somebody's interest when they see a character, especially the fact that Joe, it's a 40-year-old, or Mural American Hero, which we pull a lot from, it's 40 years old. I mean, you can go on YouTube. I mean, I watch it every day, but
and there's no current entertainment, so it's not like you're on Netflix and you see like on the top 10 shows and there's like a new G.I. Joe cartoon there. So it's
Yeah.
really a lot of our challenge is how do we get, like, we know that the fans who grew up with that in the 80s are, you know, they're like, oh my God, these are the characters I grew up with. But how do you pull in those audiences who may be seeing our toys in like a toy aisle for the first time compared to like other toys that have entertainment out right now, and how do we draw them into ours?
Yes.
We make them as cool as humanly possible. Like that is the, the very simple explanation.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Like none at all.
No
It's fine.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Right? I don't think you want anybody to be like, we don't make our toys as cool as humanly possible. You're like,
make the most basic things you can possibly imagine. Please enjoy. I guess sort of circling back, kind of a comparison here. And real quick, I had this thought just the other day. Emily, obviously you sort of came in just a little bit later than the rest of the team. But it's weird. It's kind of like how sometimes you go back and you watch a show that you've sort of had in your life for most of your life, if that, and you sort of remember going back to like season 1, that like a character that you love is like, wait a minute, they're like season 2 or 3. Like you think of like The Office and like Andy, you think he's like in the main cast, and you go back and like, wait a minute, he's not a season 1 character. And I kind of feel like that's how people sort of associated with you at this point. You're so synonymous with the brand that it's going to be kind of weird looking back, you know, to those early years and being like, wait a minute, where's Emily? But I guess to kind of for both of you in a different way.
Power Rangers doing fun stuff over there.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that introduction. I was like, oh, okay, I've got a new name. And then you sort of hopped over there. So for both of you there, what is the sort of mindset that you guys were at then versus now? Obviously, Lenny, you were kind of a bit farther back, but even in a couple months, Emily, a lot of things can change and evolve. And, you know, so just where were you guys then and how are you guys now? What's that kind of comparison like?
That's a good question.
You want to go first?
Yeah. So I think I was really excited to, so having worked on Power Rangers for a year, it was so cool to kind of cut my teeth on that as a brand, because it was, you know, you have the kid product, you have the fan product, and everybody is so passionate, and the fan base is so nice because the show is all about, you know, working together and being a team and accepting all of these different people, and everybody can be a ranger. And so it was a low stakes isn't the right way to phrase it, but like it felt like a very kind of safe community. And I really, really appreciate all of like the Power Rangers fans for that. And so switching over to G.I. Joe, it was kind of like going into the unknown of like, oh my gosh, are people gonna like me? That was nice. Like, are people gonna like me? Like, how can I really kind of help the product, help the team? So my first thing that I do whenever I join a new team, this is probably too much information, but I always schedule one-on-ones with everybody on the team because I want to get to know them and I want them to know me. And I want to know, as somebody who's coming into a brand new, I want to know like what's been going on, what pain points are, what they think are going really well, so that I can kind of help address accordingly, because I feel like that builds rapport.
100%.
Because you don't want to just like come into a brand and start looking at things and be like, this, are we sure about this one person who's been working on this project for 14 months and I'm now coming in to blow up at the very end? Because that's not how you make friends. And I think it's been really interesting to kind of get to learn with the team. And so I was kind of learning, you know, what the pain points are. And we went through, there were a lot of growing pains for Classified before I came on the brand that we were able to kind of address. You know, the demand was so much more than we thought it was going to be. We had some distribution issues. And I feel like one of the things that I really wanted to prioritize when I joined the team was I wanted to make sure that fans knew that we were hearing them and that we understood what was happening and that we were trying to do better. And I think that level of transparency has been so helpful.
Huge.
And that has been like one of the kind of big things. So at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, is this really going to work? And yeah, it kind of worked. So nice. I think that we all just like to, you know, be told as much as we can and be treated like we're grown-ups.
Well, I think you coming on a team was huge because like, even from a business standpoint, like things that I didn't necessarily pay attention to before or knew to pay attention to, you bring to my attention, and actually kind of helps from a design standpoint and it helps from a planning standpoint. And I think it's been huge. I got to say, from in general, G.I. Joe team, I think because we have, I'm going to say underdog kind of like
that's what we are.
role in the at this point in time, just because we don't have movies and all that sort of stuff. We did, but we don't have like a lot of current stuff.
But we're still we're a baby brand.
We're building, now. We're still building. And it's like a lot of the team members have had to like, we really dig in, right? And it's like, we really own like our engineering, marketing, design, like, and I would say you coming in, you dug in and like you're digging in and finding those issues and rooting into it and be like, okay, there's distribution issues. Okay, there's quantity issues. Okay, we're going to fix this. How are we going to fix it? Okay, everybody, I'm in the middle of fixing it. Need to let you know we're in the middle of fixing it, but we haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
This stuff takes time. And I think it takes months when you even notice an issue and then
to be able to implement some kind of change on
it. And then it takes time from when you've noticed it to then when it's been implemented to then happen. But just the fact that you've been doing that has been huge for the team.
Thank you.
Huge. So
but it's been, so I would say that since the beginning, I had a lot of fears about what it was going to be like to be on the team. And it has been so much better than my wildest expectations. Like everyone has been so nice. Making the figures is so much fun. Like I basically spend all day hanging out with Lenny on the internet. It's great. So you've done a great job of welcoming me to the team.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's only been 10 months. It's fine.
Well, G.I. Joe team.
Yeah.
Like it's like everybody's got their role and we all do it together. We respect each other's roles and it's pretty rad. Like I think that's how most teams work well.
Yeah.
Right. Like you trust your teammates. I think it's probably from football. It's like, trust the man doing his job over there. You know what I mean? Like you got to trust the person who's going to do their assignment. Very well.
Can you tell which one of us played team sports and which one of us played solo sports? I was a tennis. I was not great at doubles, so just putting it out there.
I play tennis. I give it everything.
Oh yeah, no, you have to do some soft shots.
I'm terrible at it, but it's fun to
can you just wail on it? That's what you need, like one of the automatic ball things, so that you can just like smack it over and over again.
You gotta get a full outfit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All black.
Tennis skirts are great. So I'm going to assume neither of you have ever worn a tennis skirt before. But the way that tennis skirts work is they're really flouncy so that you can move in them, which is dope. And then they have bike shorts under them so that you can actually put tennis balls like up kind of your leg panel on your thigh so that you can, like a holster. Like basically, and it like so handy.
Look out, Big Lob. Here comes, who's a tennis equivalent of Big Lob?
Yeah.
Well, this is a figure that's going to be coming out. That's the exclusive that you're giving me.
The new virtual character over his shoulder.
Oh my God, that would be so cool.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
All
This
right.
is how a lot of our ideating works. Yeah, we just kind of
the whimsy of G.I. Joe.
Okay, so back to the original question. So how has it been different for you since we started and now?
I would say it's the same. I love designing action figures. I absolutely love every bit of it. I remember when I first got to Hasbro, I was on, what did I come on? I came in on Marvel. And I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked on Spider-Man movie, end of movie 2 through movie 3.
Which trilogy was this?
The Tobey Maguire.
Oh, now Lenny's dating himself.
Now I'm old.
So mid 2000s is what we're talking here.
I was but a boy though. I was 23 when I came out. Yeah.
What a boy.
And then let's see. From there, I worked on some Legends figures. I could do like a Juggernaut and like some cool figures. It was fun. I love doing like monsters and stuff. But anyways, so I love doing action figures. Then I went to Transformers for a while, which was awesome. Oh my God, I worked on a lot of Cyberverse stuff. We did Generations for a bit. I was on and off on Generations, a lot of movie stuff. But I've always looked at you like when I was coming to Hasbro, I was like, I want to work at G.I. Joe. That's what I want to work on. I've always wanted to like have a hand at it. And the fact that I'm able to work on it is like such a blessing and privilege, and I'm excited every day about it. And I have the same feeling I had when I got onto the brand. I was just excited to make Joe's, right? It's like it's Hasbro's owned and operated brand. We get to go all in on it. And it's like it is a lot of pressure from a design standpoint, but at the same time, it's like it's what I went to school for. You know what I mean? So I'm like, excited, and I just love working on it. Like they'll be like, so can you have all your our review meetings? I'll call them for this meeting. You got all your review boards? And I'm like, yeah, I did them 2 weeks ago because I'm just pumped to make. Just to do design.
And I think that really comes, you can tell that you're enthusiastic, you can tell that you have the background of the brand, and that you really kind of get into the nerdy details of
absolutely. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's really the details that set classified figures apart from other figures that are out there in the world.
Which is really cool about it too, because I think, like, from a design standpoint, you don't always have to be so referential to the like the IP, like the old IP. Like when you are making a figure that is referential to something, absolutely. But I think that when you are creating something new, it's actually very exciting from a design standpoint, especially on classified, to look at references from all different scopes of design, entertainment, and just like storytelling. Like reading a book and then like see like the writer describing something, like, oh my God, that would look awesome on a Joe. So it's like just getting inspired and creating inspired figures is the jam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're kind of living the dream job wise.
It's not bad, man.
You're telling me. Well, I think we've reached the end of our talk here, which is a shame because I have dozens more questions, but I'm sure there will be, hopefully more opportunities in the future.
Sorry, we yap a bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's why you guys are here. I would like for you guys to sort of speak your minds out into the world. We fans love to hear what you guys sort of think and get into your guys' heads, because you guys are fans too. Clearly, you just sort of mentioned it. So it's cool to have those sort of talks. I kind of feel bad. I have this like one empty wall. My girlfriend and I are huge toy collectors. I've got G.I. Joe and Power Rangers over here and Jurassic Park stuff over there. And like the one wall in my apartment where my camera is facing, you can't see. That's why I've got my helmet just here, just to kind of be like, here it is.
So and you have the cap shield on the wall, which
a couple things.
We're kind of doing the same thing though, but we're actually in our boss's office, but we can't show you his product wall.
Yeah. We have to be really careful with like what we can show people in the office, because usually the shelves in our offices are full of unreleased product, old versions of product, things that haven't made it to market yet.
Things that will never make it to market, like stuff like that.
Yeah, so exactly.
Right. Which you guys will show me after the call. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, perfect. We'll take you on a tour. We'll take you behind the red doors. I know Steve Evans did that really sassy 1027 tour where he walked people behind the red doors, but he like covered the camera lens.
Steve is sassy.
He is very
a great
sassy.
Description of Steve.
He is delightful and sassy.
He is.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be offended by that.
I'm gonna go tell him he's sassy right now.
There we go. We've got tennis players, sassy employees. This is just fun and games clearly here at Hasbro. But I guess
we're going to bring up in interviews. That's part of the joy of us.
Yeah. I 100% agree. But thank you guys, for doing this, and I want to thank everyone else for watching. They're on social media. If they want to plug that, they'll be happy to. If they don't want them to bother, that's fine on them. But yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for this, and I look forward to what you guys do in the future.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah. So there you guys go. That was my interview with Lenny and Emily over from Hasbro for the G.I. Joe team. They were super, super nice. I recommend that you sort of check them out on sort of socials. I believe it is at More Phenomenal Emily and Weather Dominator for Lenny there. They post some cool stuff, and they're cool folks to sort of interact with. That's sort of a positive for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is the first time I've done an interview on this level, which was super, super cool. And hopefully this will give me an opportunity to talk with more people from Hasbro, or maybe talk with Lenny and Emily again. Anyways, guys, feel free to let me know what you guys thought of the video down below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, YouTube, all that cool stuff. That's really it. I'm at Anthony Lantern on Instagram and Twitter. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.